Some of the greatest motorcycles ever built aren't in showrooms. They're hiding in garages and backlots, overlooked and undervalued. And the best part? You can buy them for under $4,000. Stay tuned until the end because the final bike might completely change how you shop the used market. Number 7. Suzuki Bandit 1200S. Some motorcycles rise above the noise not because they were hyped, but because they quietly earned a reputation on the back roads and highways where it counts. That is exactly why the Bandit remains a treasure for riders who value real-world performance over showroom shine. At its foundation, the Bandit was equipped with an air and oil-cooled inline 4-engine measuring 1157 cubic centimeters, producing roughly 100 horsepower and 81 pound-feet of torque. Dual disc brakes in the front combined with a single disc at the rear gave the rider steady and dependable stopping control in a variety of conditions. A conventional telescopic fork worked up front alongside a rear monoshock that provided stability and comfort during longer rides. Wet weight balanced at about 570 pounds, while the seat height measured 31.1 inches for a comfortable stance. When it first appeared in dealerships, the Bandit carried a starting price of $7,499. Unlike many of its contemporaries that chased high-revving thrills, the Bandit focused on torque-rich usability. That broad mid-range pull makes it a bike you can ride smoothly in town, yet unleash on the highway with a twist of the throttle. Riders often describe it as having the punch of a muscle car wrapped in the frame of a standard motorcycle. It does not scream for attention, but rewards the rider with a surge of power whenever demanded. For those who grew up on analog gauges and straightforward engineering, the Bandit's mechanical honesty feels like coming home. One rider shared that his Bandit felt like owning a muscle car on 2 wheels. He'd cruise calmly through town, but the moment he hit the highway and twisted the throttle, the surge of torque left him grinning every time. Comfort was not sacrificed for power. The half fairing on the S model provides wind protection without overwhelming the bike's clean silhouette. The wide seat remains supportive on long rides, while the handlebar position keeps the rider slightly leaned forward but never cramped. It strikes a balance between sporty intent and all-day endurance, making it just as suited to a Sunday blast down a 2-lane as it is to a week-long tour. With its combination of grunt, reliability, and old-school simplicity, the Bandit embodies what many riders still search for, but rarely find in today's electronics-heavy machines. If you're enjoying this ride through hidden gems, take a second to hit that like button. It lets me know you want more countdowns just like this. Drop a comment too and tell me which forgotten bike you've spotted in the wild. Your input helps shape future lists for real riders. Number 6. Kawasaki ER-6N. Some motorcycles never ask for attention, yet once you swing a leg over them, you realize they have been underestimated for far too long. That is the story of the ER-6N, a machine that quietly sat in the shadows of louder and flashier bikes, but built a reputation among those who value balance and reliability. The numbers back that up. The ER-6N was driven by a liquid-cooled parallel twin engine displacing 649 cubic centimeters, a power plant that delivered around 64 horsepower and 47 pound-feet of torque with a punchy, rider-friendly character. Dual disc brakes up front and a single disc at the rear provided controlled and reliable stopping strength for a wide range of riding conditions. A telescopic fork in the front worked together with a rear monoshock to give the bike a balanced ride that many riders found approachable and confidence-inspiring. Wet weight came in at roughly 449 pounds, while the seat height sat just under 31 inches for accessibility. When it reached showrooms, the ER-6N carried a starting price of $6,499. What makes the ER-6N stand apart is not the size of its engine, but the way that engine delivers its strength. The torque is accessible low in the rev range, giving it an easygoing nature in city traffic, yet it willingly spins higher when the open road demands more. It is a bike that encourages confidence without overwhelming a rider, which is why it has quietly earned respect from both commuters and weekend enthusiasts. Unlike machines that chase peak numbers, this one offers steady power you can rely on day after day, a quality that many seasoned riders recognize as the true measure of a dependable motorcycle. One rider bought an ER-6N as a commuter, but found himself riding it deep into the weekends. He said the bike gave him the confidence to lean harder in corners, and its forgiving nature meant he never felt out of control, even when pushing himself to improve. Consumer Reports often mentioned the ER-6N as a motorcycle that outperformed expectations. Riders praised its forgiving nature in urban traffic while appreciating how confidently it handled weekend canyon runs. Its balance of power and comfort made it an appealing choice for those seeking an honest, versatile, everyday machine. The styling of the ER-6N reflects its purpose. Stripped of unnecessary bodywork, it shows a muscular frame and an upright posture that feels honest and direct. The handlebars are wide enough to provide leverage in tight corners while still comfortable on longer rides, and the seat was shaped for both accessibility and support. For older riders looking for something manageable yet still engaging, the ER-6N represents an appealing middle ground. It is not as heavy as the larger machines, but it has more presence and torque than entry-level models. It stands as a reminder that performance is not always about chasing extremes, but about finding a motorcycle that works with you, not against you. Moving from stripped-down aggression to refined practicality, the following machine demonstrates how subtle design can carry real staying power. Just like these overlooked bikes, there's gear and accessories that deliver more value than their price tag suggests. We've put together the best picks. Check the description. Number 5. Honda N T700 V Deauville. There are motorcycles that thrive on making noise and drawing a crowd, and then there are those that simply deliver the miles without complaint. The Deauville belongs to the latter, a machine designed with one clear purpose in mind: long-lasting dependability for riders who value function over flair. The numbers confirm its quiet strength. Deep within the Deauville rumbled a liquid-cooled V-twin engine measuring 682 cubic centimeters, delivering nearly 65 horsepower and 48 pound-feet of torque with the steady confidence of a true long-distance workhorse. Dual disc brakes in the front paired with a single disc at the rear delivered steady stopping performance that riders often described as predictable and confidence-inspiring. A telescopic fork handled duties at the front while a rear swing arm with a monoshock supported the back, creating a smooth and composed ride on long stretches. Wet weight measured about 560 pounds with a seat height of 30.9 inches, making it approachable for many riders. When it first appeared in dealerships, the Deauville carried a starting price of roughly $11,199. What makes the Deauville so appealing is the way it integrates practicality into every part of its design. Instead of slapping on aftermarket luggage, it comes with saddlebags built directly into the body, giving it a clean factory look and genuine utility. This detail, often overlooked in flashier motorcycles, means riders can pack confidently for road trips, commutes, or even simple errands. Pair that with a shaft drive that eliminates the need for constant chain adjustments, and you have a motorcycle that takes care of its owner as much as the owner takes care of it. For riders who enjoy spending more time on the road than in the garage, this simplicity becomes a reward in itself. One rider recalled taking his Deauville on a 2-week cross-country tour. While friends on sportier machines constantly stopped for adjustments, his Deauville never skipped a beat. He credited the built-in luggage and shaft drive for turning long miles into stress-free travel. The Deauville also offers a riding position that encourages confidence and endurance. Its ergonomics place the rider upright with a commanding view of the road, making long stretches on the highway less tiring and giving city riding a calmer feel. The windscreen and bodywork provide welcome protection against the elements, and the seat has been shaped to keep both rider and passenger comfortable for hours at a time. While other motorcycles in this class chase aggressive styling or oversized displacement, the Deauville instead stays true to its mission of being a faithful touring partner, one that feels just as capable after 10,000 miles as it did on the first ride. Riders who have spent decades in the saddle will recognize the value in such a machine. It does not overwhelm with speed, nor does it try to impress with complicated electronics. Instead, it offers peace of mind, steady handling, and durability that has already won it a loyal following overseas. For American riders, finding one on the used market is a chance to own a motorcycle that few others know about, a hidden gem waiting to be discovered. Shifting from long-distance utility to timeless simplicity, the motorcycle that follows proves classic lines never go out of style. Number 4. Yamaha SR 400. Sometimes the most memorable motorcycles are not the ones with the biggest engines or the fastest times, but the ones that capture the feeling of what riding used to be. The SR 400 is a living reminder of an earlier era when motorcycles were simple, mechanical, and honest. Beneath its classic styling, the SR 400 relied on an air-cooled single-cylinder engine measuring 405 cubic centimeters, producing about 23 horsepower and 20 pound-feet of torque. A single disc brake in the front paired with a rear drum offered straightforward and reliable stopping power suited for everyday riding. A telescopic fork at the front and twin rear shocks provided a traditional suspension setup that matched the bike's vintage appeal. Wet weight balanced at 384 pounds, while the seat height stood at 30.9 inches for a comfortable and grounded stance. When it first appeared in American dealerships, the SR 400 carried a starting price of $5,999. The charm of the SR 400 comes from its refusal to move with the times. While the rest of the motorcycle world embraced digital displays, multiple ride modes, and endless electronics, this machine stayed true to a stripped-down formula. It carries a Kickstarter instead of an electric start, demanding a little patience and a steady hand, and rewards that effort with a thumping rhythm that connects rider and engine in a way modern machines often miss. Riders who appreciate carburetors, chrome, and the tactile feel of working parts find something deeply satisfying in the SR 400. It is not a bike built for performance numbers on a spec sheet. It is a bike built for the relationship between man and machine. Owners often describe the SR 400 as more than a motorcycle. It is an experience. Consumer Reports highlighted its reliability and ease of upkeep, with riders appreciating how the bike invites them to be involved in every mile. It rewards patience, skill, and respect in ways few modern machines can. The riding experience is just as pure as its design. Lightweight, narrow, and nimble, the SR 400 can be tossed through corners with confidence or eased through traffic without stress. Its upright seating position and manageable proportions make it accessible to nearly every rider, and its mechanical simplicity means maintenance is straightforward. Many riders discover that the SR 400 offers a type of freedom that larger or more complex bikes cannot provide. It is about savoring the ride, feeling each gear change, and hearing the steady heartbeat of the single-cylinder engine beneath you. In a market where motorcycles continue to grow heavier, faster, and more complicated, the SR 400 remains a unique option. It represents a chance to step back in time without sacrificing reliability, since fuel injection and modern construction still provide everyday dependability. For the rider who values heritage and a connection to the roots of motorcycling, this machine delivers more than just transportation. It delivers an experience. From old-school charm to modern experimentation, the following entry shows how bold ideas can surprise even seasoned riders. Number 3. Aprilia Mana 850. Every so often a motorcycle arrives that confuses the market, divides opinion, and yet quietly earns the respect of riders who give it a chance. That is the story of the Mana 850, a machine that dared to blend Italian performance with an automatic transmission, long before the idea was accepted by the broader riding public. The technical side of the story is impressive. The Mana carried a liquid-cooled V-twin engine measuring 849 cubic centimeters, channeling about 76 horsepower and 54 pound-feet of torque into a ride that blended Italian flair with everyday usability. Dual disc brakes in the front combined with a single disc at the rear offered riders dependable stopping performance that was often praised for its balance in both city and highway use. Support came from an inverted telescopic fork at the front and a rear monoshock that gave the bike a confident and controlled ride. Wet weight registered near 495 pounds, while the seat height measured 31.5 inches, making it approachable for a wide range of riders. When new in American showrooms, the Mana carried a starting price of about $9,899. What separates the Mana 850 from so many others is the way it redefined the riding experience. Traditionalists often dismissed it for its continuously variable transmission, yet those who spent time in the saddle found a motorcycle that delivered seamless power without the need for constant clutch work. That smooth, linear pull makes the bike an ideal choice for riders who want strong acceleration in traffic and relaxed cruising on the highway. Add in the unmistakable Italian styling and you have a motorcycle that looks every bit as sharp as it feels. In an era dominated by conventional sport bikes, the Mana stood apart by offering a vision of what motorcycling could become if performance was combined with convenience. Many riders who owned the Mana noted in Consumer Reports that its convenience never diluted the experience. The automatic transmission took away the stress of constant shifting in heavy traffic, while the V-twin engine still delivered the satisfying surge they expected. It proved that comfort and character could coexist. Beyond its drivetrain, the Mana brought thoughtful touches that made it stand out even further. One of the most talked about features was its innovative storage compartment where the fuel tank would normally sit. Big enough to hold a full-face helmet, this detail added real-world practicality without sacrificing design. The actual fuel tank was tucked beneath the seat, lowering the center of gravity and giving the machine a planted, stable character on the road. The riding position was equally well considered, upright and comfortable with wide handlebars and a supportive seat that encouraged long stretches without fatigue. For many, this balance of style, comfort, and forward-thinking engineering made the Mana a motorcycle ahead of its time. While the Mana never reached mass popularity in the United States, its reputation has grown among those who value uniqueness and utility. It is one of those motorcycles that surprises riders who take a second look, rewarding open-mindedness with a truly distinctive experience. For older riders who have spent decades rowing through gears, the Mana offers a refreshing change of pace without asking them to compromise on power or heritage. It is not a machine for everyone, but for those who appreciate innovation wrapped in Italian steel, it remains one of the most compelling hidden gems. After Italian ingenuity, the story turns to American grit, where a bare-bones single-cylinder shows that less can truly be more. Number 2. Buell Blast. There are motorcycles that carry themselves with prestige and polish, and then there are those that carve out a place in history by being unapologetically simple. The Blast falls squarely into the second category. Stripped down, lightweight, and unmistakably American, it was designed to get people riding and to keep them riding without fuss. Beating at the heart of the Blast was an air-cooled single-cylinder engine displacing 492 cubic centimeters, putting out around 34 horsepower and 29 pound-feet of torque with the raw thumping character only a true single can deliver. A single disc brake in the front worked alongside a single disc in the rear to keep stopping power balanced and predictable in everyday riding conditions. Riders found stability from a telescopic fork in the front and a rear coilover shock that kept the lightweight frame planted on the road. Wet weight measured about 360 pounds, while the seat height came in at 27.5 inches for easy reach to the ground. When first introduced, the Blast had a starting price of roughly $4,395. The character of the Blast is one that resonates with riders who appreciate straightforward machines. Its power delivery is linear and predictable, making it approachable for new riders, yet lively enough to keep seasoned enthusiasts entertained on city streets. The thump of the single-cylinder engine is not about top-end speed, but about a mechanical honesty that encourages the rider to enjoy the ride for what it is. There is an elemental connection in hearing that steady pulse beneath you, free from the distractions of unnecessary electronics or overcomplicated systems. In many ways, the Blast embodies a pure motorcycling ethos. Everything you need, nothing you do not. One rider bought a Blast as his first motorcycle and ended up keeping it long after upgrading. He said the little single taught him not only how to ride, but also how to wrench, and the thumping engine still brought him joy years later. One of the most overlooked strengths of the Blast is how easy it is to live with. Its simplicity means maintenance is well within reach of a rider with a modest set of tools and a willingness to get their hands dirty. Oil changes, valve adjustments, and chain service are all straightforward, and parts remain accessible. This makes it a rare motorcycle that can teach not just the basics of riding, but also the basics of wrenching. For riders who grew up on machines that rewarded do-it-yourself care, the Blast feels like a return to familiar ground. Even its styling speaks to that honesty, with a compact silhouette and straightforward lines that put function first. Although it was often overlooked when new, the Blast has gained quiet respect as a dependable companion for those who value utility over prestige. It never pretends to be more than it is, and that humility is what gives it staying power. For older riders who want a light, manageable machine that still carries American DNA, the Blast delivers. Before we reveal the final motorcycle on this list, make sure you subscribe so you never miss videos built for riders who value torque, comfort, and heritage. Every week we uncover machines overlooked by dealers but perfect for those who still believe in the open road. Subscribe now and join the conversation. Number 1. Triumph Sprint ST1050. Every rider knows that certain motorcycles slip beneath the radar not because they lack quality, but because they were overshadowed by flashier siblings. The Sprint ST1050 is the very definition of that hidden treasure, a machine that combined British engineering with long-haul strength and sporting edge. The specifications tell the story clearly. The Sprint was powered by a liquid-cooled triple engine displacing 1,050 cubic centimeters, producing about 123 horsepower and 72 pound-feet of torque. Riders in Consumer Reports often praised the smooth pull of the motor, noting its flexibility for both highway stretches and winding back roads. Braking performance came from dual discs up front, paired with a single disc at the rear, delivering steady confidence under load. Handling was supported by an inverted telescopic fork in the front and a rear monoshock, giving the bike a stable yet responsive feel that owners described as surprisingly nimble for its size. Wet weight balanced at 530 pounds, with a seat height of 32.1 inches, offering comfort for taller riders. When introduced, the Sprint carried a starting price of around $11,599. What sets the Sprint apart is its ability to blend categories. Many bikes choose to be either a sport machine or a touring mount, but this motorcycle carried itself confidently in both worlds. The triple engine offered a signature growl that delivered smooth, consistent power across the rev range, making it equally suited for carving through back roads or cruising on the interstate. Riders found that it could match the pace of many pure sport machines, yet settle into a steady rhythm that ate up miles with ease. That dual identity is what makes the Sprint endure. A motorcycle built not for the track or the showroom, but for the rider who values versatility above all else. Its practicality only deepened the appeal. Many versions were fitted with factory-hard luggage, giving it a level of integrated utility usually reserved for larger touring bikes. Wind protection from the fairing was effective without overwhelming the rider, and the ergonomics struck a careful balance, sporty without punishing wrists or shoulders. It was the kind of machine that invited long weekends across state lines, yet never felt out of place on a spirited Saturday ride through winding hills. The design language was sleek and understated, classic enough to age gracefully without appearing dated. For riders who prefer timeless lines over passing trends, that is a feature worth noting. For seasoned motorcyclists, the Sprint represents an intelligent choice. It never sought the limelight, never carried the marketing power of its more aggressive stablemates, but it delivered an experience that was richer for its understatement. The triple engine remains one of the most satisfying power plants to ride, and the overall package has a reputation for reliability when properly cared for. On today's used market, the Sprint stands as one of the best-kept secrets, offering serious performance, comfort, and heritage at a price point that undercuts many lesser machines. When we speak of hidden gems, we are not talking about fragile curiosities, but about motorcycles that deliver lasting value to those who know what they are looking at. The Sprint ST1050 is exactly that, a refined, capable machine that embodies the best of sport touring without compromise. It closes this countdown not simply because it is overlooked, but because it offers a reminder that true quality does not need to shout. It just needs to be ridden, appreciated, and remembered by those who understand. That wraps up our countdown of hidden gem motorcycles you can still find for under $4,000. These machines may not dominate showroom floors, but they carry the power, comfort, and reliability that real riders value. If one of these bikes caught your eye, let us know in the comments. I want to hear which one you'd ride home. Be sure to like this video if you enjoyed the journey, and subscribe for more Straight Talk content built for riders who care about heritage and the open road. Until next time, keep the throttle steady and ride safe.